Welcome to the Game Corner, another video game podcast. My name is Harrison. You might know me online as Rorixon, and I'm joined, as always, by friends and co-hosts.
Rowan, you might know me as Smoka. Always isn't that often, and I'm standing up right now.
I was going to say you look tall.
And I'm joined by...
This is Sheldon. You probably know me as Captain Yanova.
I'm not going to pull up YouTube Studio right now and see when our last actual episode was, because I'm sure I'll be sad.
Happened. I'm pretty sure it happened.
An episode happened at some point before.
An episode happened at some point before. It was December 20th. We just missed all of January. That's fine.
Yeah. It like dry January just for content.
It wasn't actually. It wasn't dry at all. We just didn't do anything.
Extremely intoxicated all of January.
Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say the wettest January. I don't like that as much. No. Moist January. How have y'all been? Because despite the fact that we have not done a podcast, an episode in a month or more, and we share a Discord, several actually, that we're all in, and we chat semi-regularly, it does feel like it's been approximately one forever since we last spoke.
Metric forever.
Yes.
Yeah, not too bad. Work has beaten me up a little bit, but it's kind of what else is new. Playing a lot of Pokemon. Went to San Antonio. Did pretty well in all my locals. I'm sitting at like 85th in NA right now.
Nice.
Really?
And I need 75 for Worlds, so I last minute booked a trip to London in 2.5 weeks.
For EUIC?
Yeah, EUIC.
Fancy.
So we're gonna do that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm sleeping on someone's hotel floor because it's too late to actually get a room. But I got a nice comfy flight. Gonna have some leg room. That'll be good.
That's pretty. That's really cool. 85th even is impressive, of course.
Need to go up a little more because the points in internets are they're not as better as we thought they were going to be, but they're still significantly better. So if I can get points at EUIC and NAIC, then my chances are pretty good.
Do you have any other what is it?
BFLs, yeah.
BFLs.
Best finish limit. So I have earned points at 3 regionals so far, and you can get them at 5, including internets. So ideally, I would only need them at NAIC and UIC. Right. But 2 of those 3 that I've earned weren't day 2. They were just points. So I'd like to replace them with day 2s at a regional if I can. So it's looking right now like the only one I'm going to go to besides the Nats is Atlanta.
Sure, that makes sense.
No way I'm not.
Backyard.
Yeah, there's no way I'm not.
Right. Okay, cool. That's exciting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I've been hard on the Mons train. Means other games have kind of just slipped by. Playing another run of Baldur's Gate because my friend wanted to play it. I've never done multiplayer before, so it's been kind of fun. I showed him the Druid genocide route, which was
just wreck the whole enclave or whatever.
Yeah. You know when you like slaughter all the women and children like in turn-based combat. Yeah, as one does.
We didn't make it 5 minutes before we got onto genocide. So that's
murder hobos.
They like really try to stop you from doing it. It's just like, are you sure you want to be this evil? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna use the term cleansing. We want to really drive it home how gross this is morally. So like after like the 5th playthrough, I'm like, yeah, whatever. But the first couple, like, I don't know if I want to do this.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, I haven't done the multiplayer yet either. Me and Becca have been planning on that. Probably when the next one patch 8 comes out.
Ashton and I have been planning to do it when crossplay comes out, which has been something that they've been advertising since the game launched over a year ago and still hasn't happened. I bought it on PS5 expecting it to come out with crossplay so we could play together, and lo and behold, it's still not here. So, one day.
Yes. No, it's theoretically soon because I think patch 8 is in like stress testing or whatever, but like would be cool.
Yeah, they're adding new classes
sooner.
and stuff actually.
Subclasses.
If me and my buddy don't finish this campaign for a while, which I don't think we will, we play like once a week or something like that. So like, might have time to
it would take a while.
Respec into a Death Cleric.
Yes, very nice.
Is it Death Cleric? Death Cleric might have already existed. There's some new death based. I love Necromancers. That's my gem.
Sure. I remember from the one time we played D&D together, Pathfinder together, whatever. Hold on. At 8.
Death Domain.
Death Domain Cleric, I was going to say.
Oh, they didn't have that then. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, because the only way you could really be a Necromancer is as a wizard, and wizard is like, there's just better things to do as a wizard. I don't know.
Agree.
Namely, blow people up.
Fireball.
Fireball, yeah.
Fireball.
Yep. I am excited for Shadow Sorcerer.
Magic.
Shadow Sorcerer, yeah.
Nice.
And also Swarm Druid.
Yeah.
Just a ton of bees.
I know that Larian is working on their own new project. Apparently it's been like, they've been going like pretty much since before the announcement even about that they weren't doing BG3 expansions. But I really wish they were doing BG3 expansions.
Yeah.
Something, yeah.
I'm sure whatever they make will be.
Just let us go all the way up to 20. Just make it all the way up to 20.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
I want to be a god.
Yeah.
I'm sure whatever they've got cooking will be fantastic, but
that's how they do. Sheldon, how have you been?
All right. Had my surgery on my elbow.
Yeah, you
nice big
you're a
scar.
lot.
What did they do?
I reattached a tendon, a torn tendon in my elbow.
Glue it back in place?
Pretty much.
Okay.
You got to tell people something cooler than that.
I know.
I have a
something.
robot arm now, yeah.
Yeah. Implants.
Little bionic, yeah. I'm part cyborg now.
Tell people you're a cyborg. I think that's really what
Yes.
we're getting at here.
Yeah.
What cyborg part do you have? I have glue in my elbow.
Make
Yeah,
it better.
Other than that, nothing too crazy. Just busy months.
I mean, it's for reasons that we can have a whole other podcast about. It's been one heck of a month,
Yes.
January 2025 has been since the last
I'm
2 weeks
choosing
of the
to
month.
not pay attention to the state of the world and just continue to play video games and write code and see what happens.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, it's a good idea too. I've not had enough time to just actually sit down and play video games as much, or even do like other fun things as much as I want to. I'm trying to buy a house. So this background that you see is gonna change in hopefully a month's time. But if you've ever gone through the process of buying a house, you know that month is hectic as hell.
Yes. It's stressful. It's not
Can
fun.
I give you some advice as an old man with a bad back to another old man with I don't know if you have a bad back or not, but it'll happen
It's not
eventually.
great, but we are hiring movers. We are not doing...
do not do ace of boxes. And if you do, like bend down, use your back entirely, wrench violently to one side as quickly as you can.
Yeah, just a real fast
Yeah.
motion.
Yeah. That's the best way, because I know doing that motion with your back, really like whipping it up, really
it just
helps.
snaps it back into place immediately. Yeah.
It limbers it, right? Like it really keeps it moving, and malleable for. Yeah, no, we are hiring movers. We're very excited to do it. This will be my first time living in a multi-story home, which is very exciting. But I don't want to carry anything actually, but especially not like bed frames or my desk. Any furniture up those stairs.
I felt like such a cricketoon when we moved and I had them move my workout equipment. I was like, yeah, that's really heavy on purpose. That's the point. You need to pick it up though.
Yeah.
It's their job, so they probably
but like you are paying them money to do this.
I know.
But yeah, that's a fair feeling, friend. That's pretty bad. Did they like do it like one plate at a time?
Yeah, they're 45-pound plates, man.
That makes sense then. Yeah, I didn't know. My ignorant. I was gonna say another word. My ignorant, but didn't know that moving companies will like you can hire them to do everything.
Oh yeah, you can make them pack everything if you want to.
Pack.
I didn't know that. The idea of it still doesn't it baffles me. It doesn't sit right with me for some reason.
It feels wrong. Like
it does,
especially for like some stuff. Like I'm fine with like some stuff for them to pack up, but like. So I don't know, like nice stuff because I don't trust them because they will break.
To pack myself because
they will
break
stuff. They will break something.
Yeah,
I just feel weird making another human do that kind of thing for me. I don't know. It was like I was always the guy that people made move their stuff. Like I always helped people move growing up, and it was like no.
By made, you mean you?
They asked, and I did it
for you, right? No, I'm the same way. But like we're like, oh, are we just gonna like sit in the corner and watch these like presumably like fit buff men just move stuff for us? And it's like, yeah, actually, that's kind of the pattern. That's like, ugh.
I've moved too many times by myself and all, and like when we moved here, we got movers, and that was the best thing ever.
You're military, right, Sheldon?
Yeah.
So did they move you? Did they do this like?
No, they had options, but you could get paid to move yourself, kind of thing. Like they would give you the money. So if you could do it cheaper, you just did it yourself, and
that's better.
Pocket a few dollars, and
that's fair.
But then you're moving everything yourself, and that's a pain.
Yeah, because that was like the only other time that I've heard of such a thing. When again Becca was talking, because it was her family's military, so they moved a lot. And she's like, "Yeah, they just come and move everything for you." I'm like, "You're gonna break my fine china."
Yep.
Anyway, Uncle Sam don't care.
And doesn't. Well, I mean, any mover. I don't know how. I guess the more expensive movers might care a little bit more if they're gonna pack your stuff for you. But like, my goodness,
the way they like, because like they'll take apart furniture and put it back together, and some of our stuff, man, they like miss screws in places.
I am concerned about that because I have a quite nice dining table that I don't want them to bork up that way. And it's also not the easiest thing to put together to take apart. You don't know what you're doing. Either way, that's life, guys. Listeners, life. It happens sometimes, whether you want to or not.
It happens until it doesn't.
Well, it's a morbid way to say it, but yes, it's true.
You're gonna die. Anyway, how about some Pokemon?
Let's talk some Pokemon, right?
I have not touched Pokemon in like months.
Okay, so
I know we're a gaming podcast, but I feel like it's still the premise of this shit.
It is. I wholeheartedly agree. I think our foundation is Pokemon, and we can't get away from that, at least not yet. But we definitely have a lot that has happened in the past couple weeks, aside from the geopolitical state of the world. So, I mean, Pokemon happened. San Antonio. A couple of, I mean, even Pokemon TCG Pocket had some stuff happen too, which is cool. But so let's go San Antonio, and I don't have that pulled up yet.
Yeah, so in San Antonio, we're back to Reg G. I know that's a bit disappointing, and for me too, honestly. But I will say that it has actually surprised me really pleasantly. They're even like Tub Takes, like probably the highest level podcast for VGC. They had like the most doomer episode ever, where it's just like, you know what, this is a dumb format. It's just going to be like whoever calls the meta right in any given tournament, and it's just rotating.
Isn't that how it tends to be for single restricted?
Yes, but usually it's like you have to come up with a new thing for calling the meta. And their doomer, which I kind of agreed with at the time, honestly, was that like all of the archetypes have already been chosen. You just have to choose the one that's going to beat the thing that everybody's currently playing. But San Antonio rolls around, and we see some really neat stuff, like the Justin Tang and Shiliang Tang works together to build a team. Tail Room with Calyrex Ice and Roaring Moon, and then like really weirdly slow, bulky versions of Mons that you'd normally see fast, like Landorus Incarnate, Fire Ogerpon, Water Urshifu, all of them really, really bulky, so they can work in both Trick Room and Tailwind. And like they got to finals together. The two of them played each other with exactly the same team.
Finals,
yeah.
How has that happened before?
Since we've been playing, anyway.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so they collectively won $10,000 between them, and of course the finals came down to a speed tie, as you'd expect in that, right?
Yeah.
And so the $10,000 team, like absolutely wild. Like, and people just like I don't know, like I am impressed that they are innovating so well, given like the format is not like that prone to innovation.
It's also like it's the second time around for this format, right? G, we had it for what 3-4 months before. Was it more?
Yeah.
4 months?
Yeah, I think maybe just 3, but yeah, we had 3 before, and we're gonna have 4 for this time. Yeah,
and then also plus the time that it was announced and it was on Showdown before it actually started, right? So it's been around for a bit.
Anyone who didn't go to Toronto was practicing this a month at a time too. Yeah, so
correct.
It's probably gonna be around for about as long as Series 12 and Swish was, and like that was forever.
Approximately one forever.
Yeah. So I do hope that people continue to innovate on this. It has been pretty cool to see. Groudon is coming back. Everybody thought Groudon was dead in the water. Turns out like it's pretty good. Carson Confer got ace with it. Like, and
that's
I think
the
there
only
were
one in like top 16 though, right? Yeah.
In top 16, yeah. If you go further down though, like Sun is not doing bad. Like everybody thought Sun was kind of dead,
right?
Or like it hard lost to Calyrex Ice because like in theory, the two Sunsetters hard lose Calyrex Ice. But if you build a team around it, it is definitely doable. Like Ditto is popping off, Jumpluff, like what was I gonna say? Umbreon is out there. Like there are some neat mons. People are like, and even the ones that are like regular, they are building interesting sets around.
Yeah, I really like.
Well, those Terrifiers on the Koraidons hit hard too.
Yeah.
So it's basically a fire type. It's not really anything.
It's a fire type that demands your Terra, which is awkward. Yeah. Whereas Groudon doesn't necessarily, since it has that nice Speculate stab if it actually hits anything.
Yeah. I see.
No Miraidons in sight.
Yep, no Miraidons in sight, despite Miraidon winning Worlds. That is kind of what Tub was talking about. Is just like whatever is like the current public enemy number 1 is probably not going to win because everyone will prep for it. And and then you got the people that big brain it, you prep the counter prep, counter the counter ahead of time. Actually, hilarious. So Sun was getting really big in maybe the week or two leading up to Calyrex Ice was the one that was the top 2 teams. Calyrex Ice was the one that was dead. Everybody thought was dead. It had not placed in any limitless stores for like multiple tours, and there had been like 3 of them leading up, 3 Victory Road limitless stores leading up to this.
Yeah.
No Calyrex Ices in sight, or like very few. Everybody's talking about how it was dead, and the night before the tournament, Justin Tang, who ran Calyrex Ice here and won the tournament with it, posted on Twitter. So, just like I can't believe that we're gonna be playing so much Chinese Sun here. We're gonna be playing so much Groudon, and he posts a screenshot of a Groudon in his Arcanine builder, and then the next day he comes with the hard counter to Groudon.
Wow,
that's.
I feel like that's rude. Vegas would like to have a talk with you right now. Like that's
his first opponent. His first opponent brought Groudon and was talking to him, and it was like, "Hey, looks like we got a mirror," and he was like, "Yeah, sure, buddy."
Wow, I love that. That's devious in such a good way. Yeah, I was looking at the usage stats that Play Pokemon put on for Toronto. Nope, that's not it. San Antonio, and it's interesting to see that again, Miraidon was the top restricted in day 1, and then went all the way down to 6th place in day 2. Of course, replaced with Kalias, who was number 2 in day 1. Ooh, so many numbers. But it's interesting that it is the same 8 restricted, just in a slightly
very different order. Yeah. Well, I mean, so Groudon was nowhere to be seen in Reg G Part 1. The fact that Groudon is now on the radar, top 8, and there was one in top 8, and it was in the top 8 used, is really cool. Yes. I think that the story in general is that weather is picking up. Everybody kind of thought Kyogre and Groudon were washed a little bit, and that if you wanted to run Sun, you run Koraidon.
This doesn't say so.
Yeah, exactly. Weather is actually popping off right now, which means you'd think that something like Pagos would be good, but Pagos is probably it was the worst of the top 5 restricteds, and I feel like it's falling off worse now. Like a lot of people would tell you it's worse than Kyogre and Groudon now.
It looks like it had a decent day 2 showing, because it went up from 8.5 to 10.5, right? So good conversion, I think, is the right.
Yeah. The 2 day 2, but then if you check the top 16, there's also only one of them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Zacian also had a top 16 finish, pretty cool.
So I was under the impression that Zacian was
nerfed to hell.
Yeah. How is it maintaining its 3rd place top restricted?
It's not. It's probably it's probably number 7 or 8, realistically. Maybe even 9.
Still strong though. Even with the nerf to Intrepid Sword, it is still it's got really high stats.
It had the nerf to Intrepid Sword, and it had the nerf to its attack stat, which is rough. So the thing it still has is that you run it Jolly now, and if you run a Jolly, you actually outspeed a lot of the Calyrex Shadows who are trying to get greedy with their bulk. So it ends up being not in reality, or not in theory, but in reality, the fastest restricted a lot of the times.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you have really good synergy with Regidrago. If you can do Regidrago for Dragon Fang, whatever, Regidrago with Tailwind, you force them to bring out their fairies to pop their Terra fairies, and then Behemoth Blade just runs over them. It's pretty good.
That makes sense. Also, I realized I said Zacian, I meant Zamazenta. is in the thing here. So before I realized I misspoke which doggo I was talking about, but also, yes, everything you said does still make sense.
Yeah, no, Zama's good. There's just there's no qualifiers about it. Zama's a top 5 restricted for sure.
Okay, cool. That makes sense then.
Yeah,
Zacian's not even on this list.
Stab body press with free +1 is wild, and because of the weird way the mechanic works, Chenpao's thing that lowers defense does not apply to the defense stat that drives Zama's attack.
Interesting.
So sort of Ruin actually buffs body press.
Wouldn't it? I mean, even if it did lower it, I mean, it
would make it neutral, right?
Yeah.
Intuitively, you'd think it lowers the defense that's powering it, and it lowers the defense that you're hitting, so it should just do nothing. But no, it does. It just affects it only applies at the damage calculation step.
Yeah, I was about to say it's only during the calculations, right? It's not an actual stat debuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In this game of math, when weird math comes into play,
you have to know what the math
sucks.
is. Yeah. Zamapao is a very good core.
Yes.
And that's been the way since G Part 1 as well. But it took a while during G Part 1 for people to figure that out because it's, again, not intuitive.
Yeah. Let's go back.
But yeah, we saw some really, like, what was really funny is that because now on these Sun teams, Gouging Fire is coming back. Like, you have AB Groudon next to Clear Amulet Gouging Fire. And so Groudon can actually take these special hits that it normally has trouble with, including the special ones. So, like, if it's against Kyogre, it can actually take a Water Spout in the Sun with AB pretty well.
Okay.
And then, yes, it can be intimidated, but now you get to have a Gouging Fire who can't be intimidated clicking Howl next to it. And Gouging Fire doesn't need the booster energy because Groudon's giving it Sun, so it gets to be super fast just by default. And if you have Gouging and Groudon with attack boosts next to each other,
it's
with the Sun boosting Gouging's stab fire moves, it gets pretty nutty.
Yeah, I can see that being.
And then we had Gouging Fire versus Entei on stream, which was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah, I have not seen nearly enough streams this season. I should go back and watch them. I always say that, never do. But yeah.
Well, I liked Dawei's team.
Dawei had a really cool. Yeah, we thought Tingdozo was dead and it's back. Like,
no,
I don't know if I like that, but it's cool that they found it.
It was like, so the craziest thing too is like I felt like the biggest thing on that team was Stealth Rock.
Yes, she made Stealth Rock work in VGC at high level.
It worked like great. It was like the key to it.
Yeah, because the whole team is about, and I've been learning Calyrex Shadow recently too, is you want to make a board for Astral Barrage. You want to prime the field so that Astral can pick up KOs. And you know what does that is Stealth Rock and then Yawn forcing them to switch out, and then Sand Tomb making them stay in and get chipped down.
Well, it's like you can pin stuff. Like she pinned stuff so well too. Yeah. Like Koraidon going Terra Fire in front of it and not being able to switch out because you would get KO'd by the Stealth Rocks on switch in.
Yeah.
So like that's just some big brain, something you don't see in VGC either.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, and then the Dark Urshifu really helps with the Calyrex Ices. And unfortunately, she ran into the the one counter to that, which the Tangs figured out like independently, I guess. I doubt they had any idea what Dawei was doing. Terra Fairy Calyrex Ice has generally not been a thing that happens. You usually want something that resists water, or to not get murdered by Kyogre. But they have other ways to deal with Kyogre where they didn't run into any. I don't know, but. Yeah, Terra Fairy Calyrex Ice does not care about your Dark Urshifu. Like, resist Wicked Blow, resist Close Combat, and then it just bops you.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting to see, like you said before at the top of this, is like, despite the fact that this regulation is old, that there is still some innovation that can happen and is happening.
I think actively happening. I don't know if it's going to keep, like, 4 months additional might be a long time. Like, it might stagnate at some point, but at least for now, there's cool new stuff coming up.
Yeah.
I think the only way, like, especially like here in this generation, formats kind of stagnate is it's the people stagnating more than it is, I think, the actual format. Like, I think people stop innovating on it because I feel like there's so many combinations and so much.
Yes, this is VGC we're talking about. There's like a gazillion and a half combinations.
Yeah.
It's when this kind of innovation and stuff hopefully is bound to happen because it's a new regulation. There's a lot of life left in it. The stagnation really happens towards the end.
Points, but yeah, it's because what happens a lot of times in like these tournaments is people are like, "This is my team, sticking to it. I'm not."
Yeah. Well, I mean, if that's what's getting you to Worlds or not, you stick to something you know.
Yeah.
There's benefits to that.
But that's when you get the stigma of it being stagnant.
Yeah.
And,
Sure.
In a boring format, because I thought San Antonio was a fun tournament to watch because they're like Roaring Moon being like the MVP of the tournament.
Roaring Moon has not been a Reg Gmon historically, and now it's.
But but watching it made so much sense. Like even just knockoff, having a super fast knockoff is a strong.
It is cool. Calyrex Shadow's worst fear, honestly. Like,
yeah.
And fast knockoff means you get rid of Assault Vests, and then you can bop it with your Landorus. Yep. Like, it's pretty cool that way too, yeah.
Like, against Dawei's team, a knockoff just ruined her whole game plan. Mm-hmm. Knock off leftovers, you knock off Rocky Helmet, you just
spread it around, yeah.
Yep.
No, it's very cool stuff. I think, like, because this tournament is so early in this format, there's a lot of time to innovate. You obviously want, like, you're going to be playing this format for 4 months. You better find something new, because if you try to play the old stuff, you will be left behind no matter what. But if it's like the last month of the format, then the incentive to try to find something new is kind of dead, because you may find it and you may not, and if you don't, you have no more runway.
If
you will just whiff. Yeah.
Yep. I wholeheartedly agree.
Yep, that makes sense.
I am a fan, looking at some of these things. I am a fan of Andrew's team here in 4th place, just because it's neat to see, to me, right on Umbreon and, of course, Cornerstone.
Cornerstone's straight up great. Like, Cornerstone is arguably not the worst Ogerpon anymore.
I was just not saying
it's probably second even. I think like Hearthflame at the top.
Nah.
The worst is probably water. Maybe grass.
Right now. Oh yeah, grass. I have not. I don't think I've seen a water or grass lately.
I was gonna say
there was a grass popped off at Worlds.
Yes.
With loaded dice to beat all the Sash Urshifus who were popping up. There was one, Benji Irons had one at 31st place, and then there was a water pond down at 42nd. Yeah, so it does well into, I've seen it on a lot of Lunala teams. The big thing it offers is Kyogre hate, right?
Right.
Yeah, and Defiant, which...
Yeah, and Defiant on the grass one, yeah.
Yeah, on the grass one, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely room for it.
Yeah.
There's a Snorlax in 58th. It's kind of wild.
I just saw that.
I'm scrolling out. There's a Sheldon. What the heck does a Sheldon do?
Wide guard, I guess.
There's a Rhydon and a Lapras and a Galarian Zapdos. There's some fun stuff.
Yeah. So the Rhydon is cute because it's Lightning Rod and Terra Fairy and Eviolite. But this is weird. It's like swords. That one's weird. The fact that it's a setup sweeper is very weird. Yeah.
Whatever, man. That's like something you would roll like on random bats. Like
they made day 2. Okay, you know what? Respect to that. I don't even know. Like,
yeah, because no one knew what was happening. So
I would be very upset if I lost to that.
It's very fair.
Yeah.
You mentioned, and I see a bunch of Ditto here. Are we just seeing the classic? It's the beginning of the format. We're going to use
Ditto's good.
Okay.
Because it's a restricted format. If you can copy their restricted, you get 2.
Yeah.
Correct. That's what I mean. Right.
Especially a single restricted format. So
yes, exactly. Yeah. Although people have been like, I think they've thought it out in terms of like the worst case scenario. But there were a lot of games where they would actually lead Ditto. Like Luca Paz in particular really likes the Ditto lead, which is really weird because you have no idea what it's going to copy. So it's a little odd. But I mean, either he has thought out like he's going to lead this way and like either of these mons will be fine for me. I have a plan for either that. Maybe he's like that galaxy brain. Maybe he's just like, I'll come up with it on the fly.
Or he's just like rolling dice and said,
it got him to 5th.
Well, the really funny thing is that in order to deal with that, people will start swap. Like even if they're going to lead exactly the same way, you started to see it. They swap the order of their lead. Just like you will not find a pattern with me. Like if you want to copy this thing because you saw I led this way last time,
I feel like I still do that from Sword and Shield, like people running Dittos and stuff. Like
I just kind of assume no one's going to lead Ditto. It just seems wrong. But Luca Paz came in 5th, so clearly he's doing something right.
I respect it.
Right, yeah. Cool. Anything else for San Antonio?
Not really. Shout out to Tanner, who got the top 8.
I was going to say, Tanner was up in 6th. Yeah, friend of the pod.
Crazy.
I'm proud of the kid. But yeah, I think that's San Antonio. Do you want to talk about Pocket real quick, and then we can move on to other fun things?
Yeah. New expansion for Pocket. I mean, I don't know how much there's to like. I'm not.
No, there's not a whole lot to say.
Yeah,
just
I mean, new cards.
Exists.
They've added new like the strategies they've added have been pretty cool. I think the power creep's getting a little aggressive, but I don't hate it. Like there's a reason to play new strategies, even if my old cards get a little worse. I've really enjoyed the Palkia, Manaphy, and Vaporeon engine. Like you can do some really cool stuff with that. And then Darkrai might be the strongest thing in the format now, where you can like.
I've been opening Dialgos to try and chase Darkrai, and I've gotten nothing good. Period.
I still haven't gotten everything from the last one. I'm still trying to find a Celebi.
Oh, I do have a Celebi from last. I beat you there.
You do need 2.
So many packs on there and nothing.
Do I have 2? I don't remember. I'll have to check later.
Yeah. Celebi was pretty fun. I think it's probably left behind at this point.
Maybe
not. They had some neat stuff. There is a Shaman that got added.
Yes.
So Shaman heals everything on your bench and you're active by 10 every turn, which just kind of Grass's whole theme is healing. So like if you get like Erica's and a Venusaur that clicks Mega Drain or Giga Drain or whatever it is, the one that heals them by 30 every time they attack, like you can end up stacking up some crazy boosts. Like if you get a Shaman and a Butterfree on your bench, you pretty much become unkillable.
That's true. That might be a fun thing to try and build. I am mildly frustrated because I don't want to spend a bunch of money on this game, but like just not pulling what you want to play is kind of rough.
I have kept it to I pay for the premium.
I started premium with the new pack.
Okay, yeah, I haven't paid for any gold, but I've kept the premium. And like the extra pack a day adds up to a lot of hourglasses. I think I had like almost 600 hourglasses saved up when the new pack came out, so I just dumped it all into that, and I pretty much got most of what I needed to play most of the new decks from that.
But the new having a third pack doesn't increase your hourglasses though. Because the daily is still just 4.
The daily is still just 4. You're right. You know, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess that I don't even need the premium. It's just the extra packs then. Yeah.
When you said you had that many hourglasses, I was like, damn, I have messed up.
The reason. Well, I mean, the reason is that I had finished the old expansions probably 3-4 weeks ago. I had never had a reason to spend hourglasses.
That's a fair point. I don't spend a whole lot, just on the occasional 10 pull, but it's not like I've been doing it between.
I mean, a 10 pull is a lot, right?
Well, yeah, it's 120, but I was saving up for the X packs, so I wasn't really sure. I don't know what I did. I did something wrong. I also forget the game exists half the time, so that's also completely on me.
It's a treadmill that I'm going to fall off.
I've been slacking on it, but it's just like a collector thing to me now. Right now, it's just open some packs, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm bored. They only let you display 3 emblems at a time too, so there's kind of no incentive for me to keep earning the gold emblems when it's just like I can only show off 3 of them.
You got the ones I want. And...
They say first place. I don't know, like that, which just means that you played for long enough to get 45 wins. The 5 in a row is miserable.
It's actually tough. Yes, I believe that.
I mean, and I wouldn't even call it tough. The whole game is very luck based, so it's just like, did you hit your coin flips 5 times in a row? And I did the last couple. I don't think I'm going to try on that again. It's just kind of a pain.
That is. Yeah. Just being all luck based is rough. But again, is luck based in the battles? Is luck based as you're pulling cards out of pack? It's all luck based.
Luck based in the battles is great because it means I have no ego associated with this. I'm not like good at this game. It's cool to see the interactions. I think it's like the build craft is neat. But there's never a point I was like, man, I wasn't skilled enough to win this. I was like, no, I just didn't draw the cards I needed or flip the heads I needed.
Yeah, the way
that's fine.
Yeah, the way this one's set up, it's definitely like I didn't draw my cards. Oh well.
Yep.
Yeah. They're adding more and more cards that make it harder to brick now. There is
that's good.
Like communicator, something like that. It lets you swap any mon in your hand with a mon in your deck. So like it's just like if you have Professor Oak, 2 Pokeballs, 2 communicators, like they keep adding cards like this where and then like in the psychic deck you have the like draw a card, and if it's a psychic type mon, put it in your hand, otherwise shuffle your deck, and like or just put it at the bottom. So you have all these cards that let you mill through your deck quickly. Like the more and more of these they add, I think the less luck there's going to be, like less breaking.
That makes sense. So that
just makes for a weird space though. Also though, to me, like in a game when the game is just you just go through your deck and whoever won the coin flip at the beginning of the game.
That could be yes.
Yeah. So. The coin flip is rough because, at the beginning of the game, second is almost objectively better. For most decks, they are adding more decks now that can operate on only 1 energy on a mon.
Okay.
And then that makes it so going first is not bad. Or mons that want to evolve quickly and don't necessarily need the energy gain. Like, those end up being, if not beneficial, then at least like they don't care which order they're going. Like, the dark type decks don't really care.
Right.
Like, Weezing only needs one energy to do its thing. So if you went first and you have a Kopping and a Weezing, you actually get to hit your Weezing faster if you went first.
Yep, that's true. And I do really like the Koga decks. That's
they're really good with Darkrai now, right?
That's why I've been chasing Darkrai. Like I want to play the cheese try hard deck that is Koga Darkrai.
The real try hard. I was talking about this with in our Discord. Is like it's you can have Darkrai sitting behind a Duretagon.
Yes,
and then you put a rock. They've added tools.
So yeah, the tools are new, and I haven't played a battle since the new X packs are out, and I saw that tools exist. I think that's very interesting. I want to like actually see how that playing goes. But I I saw the strategies for using Drudgegon, whatever.
Yeah. Maybe Drudgegon? I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
It has that rough skin ability where you hit it and it does 20 damage to you. Now you have Rocky Helmet, which is exactly the same thing as an attach item. So you have
hit it, that's 40 damage.
Yeah, you have a wall that does more than some mon's attacks when you touch it, and it has 100 HP, so it's not frail, and it's a basic mon. You don't use its attack. Most of the decks that
it's just a wall.
Yeah, it literally sits there. Yeah, water and fire energy. Nothing runs water and fire duel. Nothing good runs duel to period.
Yes.
So like you literally never attack with it. It just sits there. And now you have Darkrai on your bench. Every time you attack an energy to it, you're doing damage. And then you have Magneton, who was mediocre or to bad before. It only has an attack that does 60 damage for 4 energy, which is the worst
wild.
ratio ever.
Yes.
But its ability lets you attach an energy to it for free every turn. But now they've added Magnezone, who has an attack that does 110 for 3 energy. So you have your Drudgegon as a wall, you have your Darkrai constantly chipping things, and you have your Magneton constantly gaining energy. And when you're ready, you bring it in, and it just starts doing damage.
Yeah, no, I want to play this. This is very good. This is just rude.
Well, if nothing else, there's the pity points.
That's true.
Yeah, it definitely scratches the build craft itch, even if it's not difficult to play.
Yeah, and it's fun. It still plays well for being a quick 20-card deck. Play a 5-minute game at most.
Yeah, it is definitely fun. If my code's compiling, I can play a game. It's
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that it for Pokemon?
Might be it for Pokemon.
We have nothing for ZA. But you know what we do have ideas for ZA? The Switch 2. That's right. That's my transition. It's a great segue. What do y'all think about the Switch 2?
It looks exactly like all the leaks that we had already seen for months. It sure is that. It looks pretty.
Yeah.
The LEDs are on the joysticks are cool. The Joy-Con connectors look better. I hope that the sticks are better.
I want to know what
drift.
that feels like. I want to know what the magnets feel like. I'm not holding out. Okay, so I haven't confirmed this.
Who would ever hold it by the Joy-Con, by the way? Who would hold their whole Switch by a Joy-Con?
Not like this. I mean, I can see someone like this, but honestly, if I'm doing that, I'm putting my pinkies out on the screen anyway, like putting more support on the body of it. But yeah, I agreed. Like, no one's gonna just kind of walk around.
Supposedly, the magnets don't release unless you press a button.
Yes, there's a button on the back of like a pretty chonky looking button, which is nice. Yeah, which is good. I do hope that the screen is OLED because OLED's very pretty.
I mean, the Switch 1 is OLED. They better have it for the 2.
The Switch OLED is OLED.
Yeah,
so I agree.
If the new Switch has a worse screen than my old one, that's garbage.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's
I agree. It better
Nintendo.
be. It is Nintendo.
I don't think they've ever done a hardware downgrade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. But at the same time,
they added a backlight. They added a screen with the SP, and then from that point, all the DSs also had backlit screens.
I mean, I guess that's there's truth in that. Okay, I mean, I'm gonna hold out hope, and I will buy it anyway. Did you?
Yeah, that's really what it is.
Were you all excited?
They showed clips from new Mario Kart. It looks like actual new Mario Kart, and maybe not Mario Kart 8 remastered.
It's Mario Kart 9 or what? Mario Kart Next, whatever.
Yeah.
24 racers.
New Donkey Kong model, clearly based on the movie, which is kind of neat. He looks soulless and dead inside, which really is how we all are these days. So yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, it's based off the original Donkey Kong design, which is cool. Which is I don't know if I like it yet because I'm so used to the rare. What's the game line called that Rare started for Donkey Kong? It's
DK.
Well, 64. That was the first one. No, it's Donkey Kong Country.
Country.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's that Donkey Kong model that I'm used to. I like that one, but yeah, big old brow, angry looking through goggles.
The eyes are just like tiny
weird
little holes. Yeah, we'll see how it plays. I feel it has the Smash Bros problem where they've added so much content to the most recent one that and DLC and all this now. Like, how are you? Whenever you make the next iteration, it will have less content than the previous one, at least at launch, which is wild.
Yes,
Smash has almost 90 characters in a fighting game, which is unheard of. there's no way that Smash 6 has 90 characters, which, by the way, is gonna probably, it's been a while since I think Smash 5 Ultimate came out in 2018.
That sounds
7
right.
years. It might be close to time. It could be a launch game.
So I mean,
for all we know.
That'd be big.
All right. So also the Joy-Con are mice. All right, cool. We've covered everything for the Switch too.
Who is going to use that?
It's going to be some weird gimmick. Nintendo's going to do it a couple times. It's going to be the ideal controller scheme for Splatoon 4, and then that's it. That's all it's going to be.
That just made me think that would be big for like Unite.
For Unite, for
like
Mario Maker, for Mario Paint.
If you could use that specifically for games like genres that were meant for a mouse and keyboard, like have
Civ
PC
7?
games on console,
and
RTS,
shooter,
yes, StarCraft on a console.
On a Switch.
They released StarCraft 1 for N64, and people were trying to play StarCraft like what they added Brood War 2 with a 64 controller, and that's like the most miserable thing imaginable. I could not.
That hurts me to think about.
No, but controllers don't go well together.
The thing is, when it comes down to it, I'm really want to know how they implement it, because my preferred way to play video games is mouse and keyboard, right? Like, I like to play at a computer. That's what I've been doing most. Like, I didn't really grow up with a console and like an Xbox or a PlayStation. So like, a lot of people like prefer the controller, and like I never was that. I was on PC. I played on PC more, and I had like a GameCube or whatever. But like, no one plays really fun games unless you're like really intense games on a GameCube unless you're playing Melee. So when it comes to controller, I was like, cool. I prefer mouse and keyboard. So I want to see how close they get to a mouse and keyboard feel, which is it's gonna be like one Joy-Con as a mouse and one Joy-Con being the like WASD as with an analog stick, which could be really cool.
Or maybe they'll have a keyboard attachment.
Or they have the GameCube keyboard, which would be amazing. Wholeheartedly agree. That's going to be like the next Switch accessory.
Imported from Japan, by the way.
That's awesome.
So does it have the hiragana and katakana on the keys?
It has Japanese stuff on the keys as well as the English characters. Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, it was only for Phantasy Star.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. But no, so I'm curious if they do stuff like that, because like people were complaining that the Switch 2, it's not innovative, it's not Nintendo, it's not fun. I'm like, no, they're gonna have some funky Joy-Con accessories and a mouse.
It's Nintendo. Like, go all the way back to what was that 3D stuff? They like
the 3DS just gave you headaches. The new 3DS was not bad actually. It was okay.
Like, go back to like the 90s.
Virtual Boy? The one that gave people like actual seizures.
The red. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, where they tried to turn the 2D picture into but they've always like had like
gimmicks
with their accessories and stuff, like,
we'll
get some stuff
with the accessories for sure. For what it's worth, I feel like this is the first non-gimmick generation they've done in a minute. Like, the Switch convertible format was the gimmick.
Yes,
the Wii thing was a gimmick. The Wii was obviously a gimmick. Before that, you had the GameCube, which was the last just regular quote unquote console, the last time they tried to just be a PlayStation.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that they've been like, you know what, our last gimmick, that was it. That clearly like hit the spot. We're gonna keep doing this just better.
It's their niche right
which
now.
Is what everybody needs, which is what everybody wanted them to do. I'd be mad if they were trying something else.
If they deviate from this, we'd be pissed, right? And I think it's good. It's good for them, obviously, for the market share. Like, the Switch made a whole like market that didn't exist before. Like, because the Switch was so successful, now like the Steam Deck and its competitors came into existence.
Yeah,
with fervor.
I don't know if you ever saw like the Pocket PCs before
were not
the
good.
Steam Deck or before the Switch. Really, were pure garbage.
They're absolute garbage. So Nintendo comes along, makes really a fancy Android tablet that can be a mobile or console game system. And they're like, all right, cool. In a year and a half, we're also going to kill our mobile console division, right? Because the 3DS ended after the Switch's life. And then they just have one, and it's a great gimmick, and they are doing they have their thing. And like even freaking like PlayStation's trying to copy them with the Portal, right?
Which is still not good enough.
It's not good. So it's interesting that they are just doing an iterative upgrade, which is also fine. They've done that before. People don't believe that they've done that. They just didn't put a 2 after it. if this was called the Super Switch, this would have been just this. Yeah.
You were going back. You were going to a console that is. When did the Super Nintendo come out? Like, if it's not older than us, it's older than most people who are listening to us right now.
That's very true. Like 90, 93, something like that.
Then about as old as we are.
Yeah. Like because the NES was the 80s.
If the last time they did something like this was...
It was 1990.
Okay, so the last time they did this was before any of us were born.
But think about it. Like, the other thing that's interesting about this is, like, even between NES, SNES, 64 to GameCube, those were all actual just iterative things.
The GameCube was it was the last regular console. Even that was
GameCube
not really
was different because it was a disc. Which
that was literally
a cartridge.
They dropped cartridges. They were genuinely copying Sony at that point.
Yes.
Like, they were like anti-innovation at the time.
And like, yes, sure, the Wii U was a flop, and it was an iterative thing to be like, let's do more stuff with the Wii's that we have. It wasn't good, but they also.
I mean, the Wii was an incredible success, even if it was garbage. Like, it did really, really well.
It was fantastic. And beyond all of this, right, like we can discuss all of Nintendo's plans for how they make their products or whatever, as many people have done already. But also, like, the fact of the matter is, the Switch is the second best-selling home console. Next to...
No, it beat the PS2 now. It's finally oversold it.
No, it didn't.
Sony came out with numbers later saying that they actually secretly sold...
receipts.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry, no.
Yeah.
You can't say you sold something 20 years later.
Yeah, so, okay, best-selling or second best-selling, it's up there nonetheless, right? And in reality, I bet you, until Sony comes out and says, hey, actually, it was 170 million, it was, I can see the Switch hitting 160. The Switch is about to beat out the 3DS or the DS.
It's got 4 million to go for the DS.
Right. And the Switch is going to be supported for another year, probably, if not more.
No, they weren't going to tell anybody about this until after Christmas, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Christmas definitely helped. Yeah, so, like, Sony maybe pulled a fast one on the whole industry and said, look at my receipts I found on my couch.
Which is really just the guy who's talking about throwing the game-winning football back in high school, right? It's like, okay, buddy.
Yeah,
sure,
looking at the Wikipedia, like, everyone else has, like, a number. And then you got PS2, it's like, it's over 160 million. Maybe.
Let's see, video game consoles. Yeah. Let's see. That's generations.
The other thing is that the PS2 was literally, for most people, it was a glorified DVD player. Like,
that's true. A lot of people still use it.
It was literally cheaper than a standalone DVD player. So
that was that back then, like, but that was like a glory years of like gaming, like when you had like the PS2 to 360 and all come out, because it was like all in one entertainment at that point when we didn't have that before.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. This thing that I'm looking at on Wikipedia for video game console says the PlayStation 2 was 155 million, which is a fine number, and Switch is gonna beat it. Sorry, gonna happen. But this is also not updated because the Switch was 122 there. Anyway, that's all beyond the point. That's numbers and stuff. Switch has a big market share. So doing a better version of what you have done so well makes sense. And it's what I want, and it's what I'm craving, and I'll buy it day one.
We didn't want them to make another Wii U.
No.
Yeah.
Neither did.
Yeah, exactly. This was the correct move.
Yeah, I agree. Did you notice the fun little bits about the reveal that it was 2 minutes and 22 seconds? And also that the next thing they said for announcement is 2 months and 2 days after the fact?
Okay.
Look at that.
Fun stuff, Nintendo. Anyway.
The layer.
It's twos all the way down. That's, I don't know, Switch 2, I'm excited for it. Well, obviously, April 2nd, we'll get more stuff. Did we actually exhaust everything we have to talk?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And we did it in under an hour. That sounds like the game corner I'm used to.
All right.
All right. Well, if you, listener, made it this far, I want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for coming back. We're sorry we missed a month. It's just been, life has been in the way of everything for many different facets, in many different ways for all three of us. We are doing I say this a lot, but I actually mean it. We're doing a lot of things in the background. This time we actually have tangible evidence of it, not least of which is Sheldon made another post on the website. So go check that out and follow his development of his card game, which was super cool, which I totally remember the name of.
Ladrasil,
that's right. That's why I don't remember the name of it. No, so that's cool. I'm working on a fun little side project video thing that will come out soon, he hopes. And also, other fun thing is, if you two want to copy this, my blue sky is roixen.gamecorner.gg, which is kind of neat, I guess.
I think it's pretty cool.
So it's you can do it a website, I guess. But yeah. I don't know. This is me talking to you, listening on probably the day after this comes out. But I don't know when this is coming out. I'm going to try real hard to get it done soon. Because our recording schedule has just been borked. It's just gone. We don't have one.
We're here, so that's step one.
And we'll do it again eventually. And then also, I don't know what I'm going to do for the whole video game club thing, because I've done that for a month. And that's it. I'm Harrison. You can find me at row_ixen on the Twitter, or on the X, or roixen.gamecorner.gg, Blue Sky, and other places, mainly here and there. Rowan, who are you?
I'm Rowan. You can find me. Yeah, Blue Sky kind of died, but I'm still there. Rowan Hall.
I wanted to.
I still scroll it. You can find me Rowan Hall on Blue Sky, Rowan W Hall on Twitter. One of these days, I'll bribe the guy with my real name to give me his account.
$20.
Yeah. Until then, Sheldon, who are you?
I'm Captain Unova. You can find me at that Blue Sky, TikTok. Not really on Twitter. I kind of deleted the apps like that and the Facebook.
Nice.
It's probably better for your mental health. Yeah.
Honestly.
But I got the Blue Sky TikToks. You can find me on there. Discord.
And Discord. That's your point. Yeah, Discord is also a thing. But together we've been the Game Corner friends of the game at Game Corner VGC. Oh, you know what? It should be the gamecorner.gg. I should do that, actually. That's something I can do with Blue Sky, and I'll do that. Or the Game Corner VGC on Twitter and other places. We want to thank RobKTA for our theme song, Goldenrod Game Corner off the Ultraball album. You can find all of our stuff in the links down below, including in our Discord. Come hang out there. Our Patreon, if you want to fund our month-long hiatuses from recording podcasts. Thank you, you too. So, that being said, no matter what you decide to play, press start and game on.